So you're watching a Beyond Print, and today we're going to take a look back to 1980. 1980, we had Islanders winning every Stanley Cup. We had MTV just launched, and one of the first videos that was on was Living on Video. And Living on Video also inspired my good friend Paul Lucido, Chief Marketing Officer for PRMG, to write this article that is coming up in National Mortgage Professional Magazine. Paul, thank you for coming on today to talk about Living on Video.
Thank you, Andrew, for having me. I really appreciate it.
So listen, I love where you went with this article. I mean, it's just, we're looking for articles about marketing. Really, there's not too many people that know about mortgage marketing as much as you do. And I love where you went. So talk to us actually, what was the genesis? What made you actually, think of the Living on Video, the concept behind your article that you created?
Well, to be quite honest, a lot of it was through reading, and a lot of it was also inspired by the fact that nowadays you're seeing more and more people literally on the internet using YouTube literally as the #2 search engine to find information, to explain what they're trying to sell, or you see a lot of TED Talks, a lot of really heady engagement. And as I started to see that and I started to look at it, and I was also kind of inspired by a recent book that we've been reading called 30 Days of Thought that kind of teaches you how to create the perfect 1-minute video. And so as a result of that, those ideas kind of flowing together, and the fact that I am a baby boomer, and I do remember the advent of MTV back in 1981, and it was literally, the caption was "Video Killed the Radio Star." I think that was actually the very, very first song that MTV played. And another video that inspired me was Living on Video. So the idea of living on video has kind of now found its way today, literally, through the advent of the internet now. And so everybody is living on video. Everybody is having their, as I call it, their 15 minutes of fame, literally in 60 seconds.
So how do we differentiate ourselves from everyone else? Because, like you said, everyone now they're holding their phones up in the air. My producer just smirked at me with that look that he always does when he sees people walking around shows. So how do we differentiate ourselves from all the people that are walking around trying to create content from potentially nothing?
Well, you know what? That's an interesting question, and that is actually a pretty tough question, because as we create more and more saturation, obviously you have to find a way to separate yourself. I think one of the things to consider as you ponder that idea is that most people have a very short attention span, especially the millennials. Let's be honest. Most people are out there just popping selfies off, and there's a lot, as I've said before, there's just a lot of pretty people just looking for a moment to get a Snapchat in or do something. The idea is, in our industry, and I know we want to really kind of keep this more centric to the mortgage industry, is you want to make sure you put some good content out there, and there are a lot of people that are doing that. Now, I had kind of made a comment in here that in order to create what, and I believe would be a good 1 minute or 60-second video, and I'm using kind of spinning off a little bit of what Jay Duran was talking about, and that was essentially to create the hook within 3 seconds, to ignite pleasure or pain. That's very, very important. You've got to connect emotionally with your prospects, then have a solution, have a proposed solution, and then boom, you've got to be able to have a call to action, whether they're going to read more, learn more, or contact you directly. But the idea is to create the perfect video. And a lot of times they say not to have too many bumpers. Literally just get it started, get it rolling, get your message out there. And I want to throw in one other thing too, something that I did not put in the article, but I think is important. I've always said reach times frequency equals gross number of impressions. And in our industry, Andrew, and when I speak to our industry, I'm talking about like in your industry, literally with the Mortgage News Network, doing the PR. The idea behind it is to make sure that you know who your audience is and how many times are you really going to reach out to them without oversaturating them.
Yeah.
And that's really key. And then you create your gross number of impressions or your calls to action.
Fantastic. Listen, I thought the article was great. I think you go into the history of the internet, video, and give some great pointers. Paul, thank you so much for the editorial contribution. Check out on nationalmortgageprofessional.com. You'll be able to find Paul's article as well as other articles that he's written. The name of the article is Living on Video. Paul, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for having me. I appreciate it.
And I'm Andrew Berman from the Mortgage News Network. Thank you for watching.